Hello, lovelies, and welcome to Aren't You Exhausted, a podcast about Amberlynn Reid, a 500-pound YouTuber on a weight loss journey to trolling her audience. Let's discuss the funny, silly, quirky little things that our girl gets into, and along the way, we can also discuss some of the people she's associated with online or in her personal life to add some flair to her story. I'm your host, Ashley, and let's start today's discussion. Hello, lovelies, and welcome to a new episode of Aren't You Exhausted? This is your Wednesday episode. I'm your host, Ashley, and this week has already started off with some real treats, and it's not even Halloween yet. So let's talk about it. We're going to get started here on Miss Amberlynn Reid. Sunday, we were met with a new video upload titled CT Scan. I got more bad news, admitted into the hospital, vlog. We had some insight into what may be going on medically, as nothing is definitive as of yet, other than the doctors treating her, having found fluid around her lungs and a possible lung nodule. Cancer talk was thrown around a lot during the discussions with her care providers, but further testing is going to have to be done because there's just not enough imagery for them to look at to verify. So a contrast CT scan was recommended, and I believe she went ahead and made the appointment for that. By the time I've recorded this podcast and get it uploaded, I believe Amberlynn will probably have already seen her primary care doctor and have had the contrast CT scan done, possibly with the results from that, but who actually knows? But lo and behold, the next vlog that she uploaded yesterday was another medically centered title with a forlorn looking face. She looked very sad. And it was just titled, I was misdiagnosed again. This vlog having taken place directly after her last, so essentially all filmed in the same day and just spread out for content's sake. It really goes to show just how much she loves making vlogs and creating content for her YouTube channel. She goes on to confirm in the video that the ER visit she was misdiagnosed with a collapsed lung. But it turned out that it was a little bit more serious with fluid around her lungs and a possible nodule in her lung. I'm sure you've heard it from numerous other reaction channels at this point about this subject, but I'm just going to reiterate what's already in the air and been said. Emergency rooms are not there to diagnose you. That's up to your actual physician, your primary care provider, someone who knows more of your medical history and the ins and outs of your body. The ER just takes your symptoms that you relay to them and tries to troubleshoot to keep you from dying. They do not diagnose you. They make recommendations, which they did. They recommended that she sees her primary care doctor for a follow-up and a suggestion for further testing. She went on in the vlog about needing more positivity in her community as she's still struggling and scared for her health. Then went on to say that she's feeling down as of lately about the impending holidays as due to her current health situation, she's unable to make the 12-hour trip to spend the holidays with her family. So, I'm under the impression that that's what she's been going through as of lately, just coming to the realization that she's not going to be able to make those long trips for the holiday vacation to her families or to Jade's. She's just not fit for travel at this point. Even before this diagnosis, she wouldn't have been fit for travel. Her body is not going to be able to handle long distance road trips. And I believe she has a phobia of the plane. So, but she made it a point to make everyone aware that she's lost 100 pounds this year. But in the backs of everybody's minds, it's the same 100 pounds that she keeps gaining and losing. The scenery's changing, but the details are staying the same. I also think it's safe to assume that the stuff that she claims to have been going through in the prior videos was probably a mix of her health decline and worry for what that could mean, and the fact that she's unable to travel for the holidays, so she will likely be spending them alone again. So get ready for the mukbangs and drunk live streams. And possibly a lot of crying. But who's to say, like, maybe Jade will bring her family to them? But it's highly unlikely, because usually Thanksgiving and Christmas are they're activities that have a tradition, and it's traditionally held at somebody's home for a gathering. So it's usually the matriarchs of the family, and I don't think they're going to drop everything to stay in a 2-bedroom. Is it a 2-bedroom apartment? With Amberlynn and Jade, or get a hotel just so that they can accommodate her. More than likely, Jade is going to be spending the holidays with her family, and Amberlynn's going to be left alone. My only concern with everything that's happening is that Amberlynn finally takes these wake-up calls a little more seriously and tries to actually be an advocate for herself, because she's always claiming she is. Do something about it. Cut out the excessive fast food, Uber Eats, processed meals. Start cooking more for yourself. It's not hard to follow a recipe online. And at least with the recipe, you know what's going into it and can control the amount of sodium and such with it. Like, you can play with a recipe, whereas processed meals that's what you get. And if you add more to it, it's going to get worse. But I would like to see her finally getting out, being more social, and experiencing the world around her. At least in the Becky era, they went out with Eric and Ricky pretty frequently. And they were out, at least she was out of the house being social. I feel like this Jade arc has really shrunk her social circle, and she's not really doing as much as she was prior. But also the cynic that lives in my brain rent-free, that bitch, knows that this will not happen. She's not going to do anything differently, because she can profit off of this. She can profit as much as she can off of this medical scare, because she enjoys the attention. Whether it's positive or negative, she just loves people talking about her at this point. The same goes for Chantal, aka Foodie Beauty. We know that they're now knees deep in the Tinder controversy. For those of you that don't know or haven't seen yet, Sala was found to have had an active Tinder profile, and Chantal claims that the screenshots posted were photoshopped, because she knows for a fact that he no longer has an active Tinder profile. She just knows it for a fact because he's with her all the time, from the time she wakes up through all hours of the day on video calls and texting. Obviously not all hours of the day, because she still finds time to live stream for hours on end, as well as he supposedly has a job, so at least 8 hours or more of his day are unaccounted for, because the man does have to sleep. But she apparently reported the account that shared the Tinder profile for a privacy claim. I'm not sure much is going to be done in the way with that, because, I mean, it's a Tinder profile. Anybody that has a Tinder account can see the profile. It's pretty public. And there's no, super personal information on there other than where they live. Or, well, not even where they live, around where they live. So I also hope that she's aware that most of Kuwait, it's illegal for an unmarried couple to sleep in the same hotel room. So I'm guessing no conjugal visits for Miss Chantal, which will be a real struggle for her, that's 75% of her relationship at this point with this man. and the other 25 is Sala love bombing the shit out of her. She's pretty complacent so far with everything because she's receiving some kind of attention from him. But I love how even wearing the hijab and claiming to take this new leaf on life earlier this month, we're now back full on live stream rages and rants, attacking channels in the comments section of their communities. Her community tab working overtime. Her comments and stuff are still off on her videos and on her community tab, so she's just going to town on everybody else's. I, for one, hope Chantal does travel to Kuwait and realizes very quickly that this lifestyle is not for her. She's just not able to keep up with it because she's not a conservative person. And I hope she spends all of her money on food and frivolous shit for Sala. And then I hope she live streams her breakdown from that because that's what she does. She does not know how to cope with the real world without drugs or the high that she gets from spilling hot garbage to her beezers. I really hope that she has that oh fuck moment when she realizes that, you know, a lot of the conservative parts of the world are less tolerant of Western behavior than she realizes. It will be the rude awakening I believe she deserves at this point because she's been warned numerous times by her followers. But how do you guys feel about Amberlynn's sad fishing titles and Chantal's Jekyll and Hyde personality just in time for the big ween? And I thought it was worth a little mention, but I saw that Christina the Latina, who has now taken over Garlic Bread's account, his channel, had posted again about Foodie Beauty, which I find hilarious. Comment sections still turned off on videos and community posts, but still trucking along with the content in Ryan Moody's absence. And I think that's all from me this morning, you guys. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday, and I will chat with you guys again on the next episode, Saturday night, where Liam will be joining me once again to discuss the dumpster fire that is Amberlynn and Foodie Beauty's life. See you guys then. Bye!